And we're back to learning HTML, and this time I'm going to show you how to create an HTML only website using GitHub. This is basically part 2. So if you haven't seen the first video where I've used GitHub to make a website go live, go check it out in my playlist below. And then we turn to this one. On the right hand side we've got our GitHub repository, so it's the index.html that we've created. And in the browser it looks like this. Let me make it a bit smaller, you can see it. So this where we've ended the last video. It's this URL, and the index.html is the code for it. On the left hand side you'll see a good website that shows you HTML only websites. I'm going to link to it in the video description, and it's a good place to start learning. Let us just use this one. And it's only based on HTML. And if you press F12, you can see the developer tools, and on the left hand side there is the HTML code. Here's our doc type HTML. So it looks exactly like what we've created in the last video. And you can see all of these little parts. It's headings, paragraphs, and it's all tags that you should know from the first videos that I've made about HTML. Only a couple of details are added, and we can recreate this website easily right here in our GitHub repository. Let me, for example, create a new header. On the website, on the left, the header contains an H1, so the basic heading of the website, and a paragraph. So let us just create it. H1, opening and closing tag. On output, a heading text in between. And we also have a paragraph. It needs some text in between as well. Let me just call it "This is a website." And below, alright. And it's perfect. So I'll leave out the slurs. Let us look at the code. And in the header he has used an H1, but instead of a p tag he's used a side tag. It has the same formatting as the paragraph, and I'm going to explain the difference in future videos. For now, we'll just continue. You can see we've got a couple of H2s following this header. So we'll place it outside of the header. Let me call it another headline. A paragraph comes after it. It has a little bit more text over multiple lines, but it's still a paragraph, just like the one under the H1. And then we've got a list. It's unordered, and we'll find it right here in the code. So let us create one ourselves. We need the UL tag, opening and closing tag, and in between we'll have to place the list items, so LE tags, opening and closing. Let me call it first item. I'll copy it. The original has 5 items, so I'll make it 5 as well. And after the unordered list, we've got another headline. And this one looks like an H3. Don't forget the closing tag. We've got a paragraph after it. Let me give it a different text. This part actually contains 2 paragraphs, so this is where the line break is. And then the website follows the same structure, so headlines, paragraphs, headlines, paragraphs. Here's something new. It's called a quote, and you can use the block quote tag for that. We'll find it right here. In our code, let us add a block quote on our website. Right here below the paragraph, it has an opening and a closing tag. And then we've got the source of the quote. So it's an attribute that we can add to our block quote tag. It's called cite. And then you add the URL or a URL where you can find the quote. You'll put it as a value for your cite attribute. And then we've got a line break right here. And we can create such line breaks with a tag that I haven't yet talked about. It's the BR tag. And it's only an opening tag, so it's self-closing. We don't need a closing tag. And I'll comment this right here. So the BR tag, it creates these line breaks so that in this case some guy and our quote is in different lines. And finally, we've got a new element, which is this line on the website. And this is created with a tag called HR. Once again, it's self-closing. And if you add that, you will have a horizontal line right here, in this case, after our quote. And below it, we have another headline and a paragraph. So that's nothing new. But this is basically how this website is built. And if we save what we've created here in our GitHub, we'll have to wait a little bit. And now I can refresh my browser, and we've got all of the elements that we've created. Only here we have a little bit of an issue. Let me check the original code on the left. And we can see that some guy should be part of the block quote. So it's a different effect then. You can see that right here. So let me simply fix that in my GitHub index.html. Here you can see the block quote ends, and then I've added the BR tag to break this line. And it needs to be part of the block quote to have the same style as our original on the left. So let me simply do that. I'll edit this index.html, Ctrl X, and then I paste it below with Ctrl V. So this BR tag is now nested within the block quote, and some guy which follows after it is also nested. Let me save it again. I have to wait a little bit until these changes go live on GitHub. But if I refresh my browser now, we can see it has the same style. And this is what I suggest you should do. Just check out these websites that I've linked to in the description of this video. Try to recreate some of the elements of these websites with your GitHub page. It's a good way to learn, and you will find new elements here and there, new tricks here and there by using these developer tools in your browser. By the way, I've used Firefox as a browser, so maybe it's a different shortcut for you if you use a different browser. Just do a Google search for developer tools in your specific browser and you should find a shortcut for having them pop up. And this is how you can create an HTML only website using GitHub. I hope this video was helpful, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.